So recently gave entrance exams for architecture. A part of the syllabus included history of architecture. And I thought it was going to be names and dates, and I'm going to have to memorize those, cram those, and I'll forget them after the exam. But when I actually started reading those, something what I realized that the history is a proof that we are solving problems thousands of years ago that the rest of the world is still trying to figure out today. And we're going back 2500 BCE. Cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, they weren't just settlements, they were planned cities. Like properly planned, they had grid layout. The part that is almost surprising that they had an amazing drainage system. Even in that times, every house connected to a central drain. They were covered, maintained in 2500 BCE. We're talking about a civilization that had better sanitation than most of the European cities in the 1800s. 4000 years later, that is not a small thing. That is genuinely insane when you think about it. And the city planning, there was a clear separation of public and private spaces. And the great examples include the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, a massive public pool. In 2500 BCE, someone thought about how people would gather, move, live together, and then built it. That is not primitive. That is sophisticated urban thinking that most cities today still struggle to get it right. On to temple architecture, this is where it actually got interesting. Because India had two styles, Nagara in the north and Dravidian in the south. And they had the same religion, same purpose, but they had a completely different design language. Gara temples, they had curvilinear shikharas, that tower that kind of spirals upwards. And it was designed to draw your eyes up, to make you feel small in a good way, like you're being pulled towards something larger than yourself, something real, something spiritual. Dravidian temples in the south had gopurams and massive gateway towers covered in sculptures. And when you approach it from a distance, it just dominates the skyline. It says something important is here before you've even arrived. Centuries before electricity, before any modern technology, someone was designing with light as a material. That is architecture. That is not just a building, it is an experience. And then came the era of Mughal architecture. And most of you would know about it: Red Fort, Taj Mahal, Humayun's tomb. But what I really love about Mughal architecture isn't the monuments. It's the thinking behind them. Having perfect symmetry, every Mughal building is obsessively symmetrical. You stand at the main axis and both of the sides mirror each other exactly. You feel it before you even understand it. And when you think about it, it is all choreographed. Red Fort, Taj Mahal, that is not engineered. That is storytelling through space. I took from all of this after the entrance exam prep was done. Every era was solving the same question: how do people live together well? How every era had a different answer based upon what they valued, what they knew, what they had access to. Indus Valley valued order and sanitation. Temples valued experience and emotion. Mughals valued beauty and power. And the British valued control. Today we're still figuring out what we value. And the buildings we build right now are going to be somebody's history. That thought actually changed how I look at new construction. Every building going up around you right now, that is our era answering the same question: how do people live together, and are we answering it well enough?